Good morning, friends. My name is Ben Johnson, lead pastor at St Mary's Anglican Church in Merbau North, and as part of our Covenant and Kingdom series today, we are looking at the story of Moses. As usual, if you haven't already done so, hit pause on this video and read through Exodus chapter 3 from verse 7 through to verse 17. Though today we are actually exploring about 20 chapters through the life and story of Moses. And over the last 2 weeks, we've explored Abraham's story, a story and theme of covenant. We've explored Joseph's story, a theme of kingdom. And today through Moses, we are seeing how covenant and kingdom are entwined within each other. And Moses' life covers the story of a young child born into slavery, from bulrushes to a prince, from a prince to a fugitive, and from a fugitive to a desert shepherd. And Moses' story is in many ways our story, going from blessed to broken, from broken to used. And as in many cases, it is out in the desert, out in the wilderness, where Moses is led to a place of dependency upon God. And out in the desert, God comes to Moses, comes and calls him into covenantal relationship. Come and be in relationship with me, God says to Moses, and also into kingdom responsibility. Represent me before the throne of Pharaoh as king of not just Egypt, but of the universe. And so Moses returns to Egypt not as a fugitive, but as a representative of the true king over all. And Moses returns confronting the pantheon of gods that stand behind the throne, and really the plagues that we see. And what we see through that is how Yahweh triumphs over the Egyptian gods. Physical confrontations to a spiritual reality, right down to the incarnation of a false god, being Pharaoh and his son. God triumphs. And so Abraham's God has triumphed over the God of the Egyptians. And as God calls his people into both covenant and kingdom relationship, their slavery is turned into freedom, my friends. Let me say that again. Their slavery is turned into freedom. I want to share with you just 2 final stories of Moses and life, 2 stories of covenant and kingdom. Well, let's start with kingdom first. We see Moses standing before the Red Sea, trapped, the Egyptians bearing down on them as Pharaoh has changed his mind and has sent his army of chariots to go and recapture the Israelites. They stand before the Red Sea, before chaos, before darkness, before all that represents everything that cannot be controlled in this world, for that is what the sea represented. And yet with an outstretched arm and an outstretched stick, the seas part. From the king comes authority, and from authority flows power. From the king comes authority, and from authority flows power over and within this world as the seas part. For that is the story of kingdom and kingdom responsibility. Moses represents the king. The second story we see Moses climbing up onto Mount Horeb to receive the 10 commandments. Moses meeting face to face with Yahweh, coming down and his face glowing. The Father has given the Israelites a new identity. And now he's calling them to live out that new identity through obedience to him. These 10 commandments were always meant to be a harness a harness to hold God's people close to his heart. And yet, as we all have the propensity to do so, we turn good rules into bad things. And this harness became a straitjacket, an obedience without identity marks their lives. Well, we see through Moses' story, God's call to Moses and God's call to his people to live in covenantal relationship with him, that their lives of obedience is marked or is an outcome of this new identity that he has given them. But they are also called to represent him as king, to take up kingdom responsibility in representing Yahweh on this earth. That is the call upon Moses, that is the call upon the Israelites, and that is the same call that is upon you and I, my friends. Have a wonderful week, and I look forward to exploring this continuation of our Covenant and Kingdom series as we look next week at the story and person of Jesus.